What's up? It's your boy Reg Mac. I have spent some time on YouTube trying to do a little bit of research myself on how to change a rear axle out of a Raptor 660, and after watching some of this stuff, I feel bad for you guys that are not super mechanically inclined to watch some of this stuff, because guys like this guy here have, no clue what he's talking about. You can wind up costing yourself an axle by cutting stuff up like that. Let's say if you just need to replace your bearings and you're gonna go right back to your stock axle, so you don't want to have to saw the damn thing up. I'm gonna give you a little bit of an example of how to do it more like a professional. Still gonna be very garage style, I'm not gonna lie, but you're gonna understand a little bit better. So what we're gonna start with is axle removal. Now, for those of you with an 02 to 04 stock Raptor, you will understand that there is no master link in the chain. So what you need to first do to get this whole process started off, to make this easy, go ahead and take off the disc caliper, the brake disc caliper, okay? Now I did this ahead of time to make it a little bit simpler and faster to show you. Now, what you want to do is go to this bolt down here, right by the brake disc, this bolt down here, right by the brake disc, and you'll want to loosen each of those up, okay? Once you've loosened those, not completely take them off, but loosen them, you go to these ones next. These here need to be first loosened, then this on each side, okay? That's going to allow you to loosen this up enough to slide your chain off, okay? There's no master link on these, so either you need a chain breaker to break that chain, or you just want to do it like that. If you don't want to have to go break the chain, go buy a master link and yada yada, go ahead and just loosen it up and get the thing off, okay? Alright, for this part of the axle removal, you're going to need one of these guys. That's going to help you get these big bad boys off here, okay? You're also going to need an Allen wrench, because in these big bad boys you have an Allen key. Now I've already loosened that out. You can see it's been turned out. Usually those are sunken in deeper. That locks that into place. Don't try turning it until you've taken those out. Now to take those out, what you want to do is drop a little bit of lubrication in there first. Allow it to set for maybe a couple hours. It helps. Use something like Aerocroil or anti-corrosion stuff that'll help you to break it loose. Then go ahead and kick those Allen keys loose. They are standard righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Kick those loose. If you have any troubles getting them loose, it helps maybe to heat this up with a small torch, maybe like this, just to heat it up. You heat it up, get those out, let them cool down a little bit. There's one on each side, as you can see. I've loosened them both out. But the next thing is when you'll want to take them all the way out just to make sure you're not rubbing. Then what I did is I heated up this large lug after lubricating it pretty well too, shooting some right inside this area and down inside these holes and turning it, allowing the Aerocroil to move around in there and loosen stuff up. Then what I did is took the torch, heated it up. I took a pipe, put it through here to kind of hold it still. That way when I was pulling down on it, it wouldn't move on me. But once I heated up, this did start moving. Yes, it is kind of sticky, but it doesn't mean you're stripping it. Don't use any excessive force. There's no reason to cut anything, people, because I was watching that video and the guy had cut it here for some reason. There's absolutely no cause, no reason for it. This will save your axle in case you don't want to run out and buy a $300 replacement axle. You at least have your stock axle to put back. Okay, sorry, I'm doing this one-handed, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. Should have had a cameraman. Okay, like I said, heat this up, you kick this one off. Now these are not two different sizes like the gentleman says in his video. These are actually the exact same size threads on both these. So you have to do the same with this, lube it up, you know, by shooting some inside it, heating it up with the torch and breaking it loose. Maybe when you put your wrench on there, hit it with like a rubber mallet in the direction you're going. It helps to kind of create a hammering, impact wrench effect. It'll help you bust it loose a little bit easier. Yes, they seem very difficult to come off, but they will come off. I'm just taking these off the exact same way I did it before. They're just loosened, and I've lubed everything up to make it easier to show you again. This here, you don't have to unscrew anything. It slides directly off and over. No need to cut anything, okay? Now for the last part of the removal, everything's pretty much ready. Now what we're gonna do is knock out the axle. So now what I have is a piece of wood that has a hole drilled in it and is double thick so I don't hit it accidentally with the hammer. I've put it on the end of the axle. Now what you want to do is slightly lube the axle, you know, spray a little WD-40 or Aerocroil or whatever on it. You line the sucker up. Now, not in every case is it going to be that easy, but that just knocked it loose. I have to peel this back off, which isn't easy once you've... Oh, great. Broke my little contraption, but at least it worked for the job. And the reason for the wood is to avoid getting your threads on your axle messed up. Poof, you like how that came right off? Magic. Alright, so anyway, I kind of bumped this back in. There we go. Now, unfortunately, it's very difficult to get the chain off, like I said, so you kind of have to tinker with it and find your way around it, get back around it, and anyway, eventually slide the axle out after it's all said and done. But I'll show you a shot of it once I've got it out, as soon as I've worked my way around the chain. Sorry for not having an extra camera command, guys. Alright, now even though you got it bumped loose a little bit, what you want to do is those bolts I showed you here and here, you want to loosen them and remove them before you bump it any further, because now by doing so, what you will do, hold on, now normally I have the wood on the end here, but you'll knock this loose. It'll bring the outside of the carrier bearing loose, knocking the whole rest of the axle and carrier bearing out for you. Pretty much. Now what you want to do is soak some Aerocroil or WD-40 or whatever lubricant you have on the axle. You'll spray it up here and down there, turn it around, let it kind of soak. I let this sit for over 24 hours after soaking it with some Aerocroil to make sure everything comes off smoothly. And then you'll want to take a rubber mallet such as this. All this is loosened up here. Like I said, I'm just knocking the carrier bearing the rest of the way off. You set the sprocket down on it just like this. And give it a good couple whacks and come right apart. Then you go ahead, clean all the garbage you'll have on your axle, and when you do that, as you saw, I was using a piece of wood to try and preserve the threads. You don't want the threads to get messed up, because by hitting that on cement or something, you could potentially damage threads, therefore costing you an axle again if you can't rethread it.